It's playoff week, Browns fans. Let's fucking go. I am pumped. Playoffs, baby. Playoffs. Browns, Texans, Saturday afternoon from Houston. And I understand that's a playoff game, so everyone's going to be a little bit on edge. No one's going to feel like anything's a guarantee, but I was just revisiting that Browns-Texans Christmas Eve game, and yes, C.J. Stroud did not play, different team, but the Texans were trailing 36-7 in the fourth quarter. C.J. Stroud can only do so much, so I am feeling good about the Brownies this week, and if you are rocking and rolling with me, like the video, and let's get ourselves ready for the playoffs. Now, we're going to jump into some very important injury news on today's show, but as always, we are going to let the audience build up a little bit. That way, no one misses the start of the show. So, shout out your city for me right now in the comment section. Let me know where you are tuning in from. I want to see everyone, and I mean everyone, get in the chat right now, because I'm not going to announce a single city from the chat until I recognize a new name in the chat. So, let's wait and see if we get a new one here. I'm looking for a new one here. Looking for a new one. Let's go. Let's go. Jacob Kistner already getting the party started. I'm looking for a new city. Julian, Odessa, Texas. That's new. There we go. Wilson Berea, boots on the ground, baby. I've got Sacramento. I've got Beaver Creek. I got St. Augustine, Columbus. Cool guy. This Saturday, right? Yes. Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, Mr. Cool Guy. Indiana's in the house. Jacob's in Toledo, Ohio. Michael's in Cleveland. Let's go. Let's go, boys and girls. Let's fucking go. Jacob Kistner sending in a $2 super chat because I want a big play first minute Saturday. Good karma. Jacob Kistner might just seem like a average Joe, but you know what happened in the movie Dodgeball? The average Joes took down Globo Jim. Jacob Kistner is Peter LaFleur. Let's go. And I'm talking first play on offense. Might not be a touchdown, Trace, but you know what it's going to be? It's going to be a little dump off to David Njoku, gain of 20, and the Browns are already at midfield. That's what Kistner just did. Let's go. Lock in.
LaFleur.
Ooh. Lock in. Lock it up. Lock it up. Let's go. Let's go. I'm ready. I feel like it's tomorrow. I feel like I'm playing. That's when you know your fandom is maybe getting a little bit out of control, which that's not a thing. When you feel like you're suiting up, that's the moment to go like, deep breath, I'm not actually playing. But hey, those are the fans I want to sit with at games. Those are the fans I want to be at a bar with. There is nothing worse than going to a bar or going to a game with a fan and they're not really emotionally invested.
No, the best part about going to a bar and having other fans of your team around you is hugging and high-fiving with big
strangers.
Plays. They're your best friend.
Oh, my God.
They're your best friend.
And there is nothing better, and we can all agree, than when you nail a perfect high five with a stranger at the game, at the bar, especially when you are. I'll actually one-up that. The best is when you're at the game and you're leaning over seats. You're going back rows. You're going down rows. Around. That is the best right there. That's what I'm living in my head right now every single day. So keep shouting out your city. Let me know where you are tuning in from. We've got Brent Payne in the chat. We got Jacob S. here. Night Fright tuning in from New Bloomington, Ohio. Let's go. Blake's in Philly as always. Joshua Miller sending in a $2 super chat. We got Trizzy Trace on the ones and twos today. Joshua Miller.
What up, Josh?
One for you.
Hey, buddy. Hope you're doing well, man.
I'm just here.
Hey.
I'm just facilitating this conversation.
This is the Browns Report featuring Matthew Peterson.
Okay. Let's get into the let's get into the show. But yeah, how about the next question? Hey, Super Bowl matchup predictions. What are we thinking? Is it okay to have two Super Bowl like which you want to happen?
Yes.
And then like if you were held hostage and your life depended on it, what you might say? Because I can see, I told you guys this a few weeks ago. Every couple of years in sports, get a team that wins a championship that just no one saw coming. It happens. Happened in October, November. The Rangers. They were below 500 the year before. Yes, they had a good season, don't get me wrong, but just no one saw them going all the way from start to finish. I mean, you can do this for any sport. The St. Louis Blues in the NHL just 4 or 5 seasons ago. Worst team in hockey in January. They go on to win. Why not us? Are the Browns a perennial franchise that is always contending for championships? No, they're not. But you know what? There are a lot of teams that weren't and just get hot at the right time. So why not us, baby? Why not us? Who you got, Browns or Texans? Get in the chat right now. I've got the Browns. I do believe the Browns are going to win this game. Do I think they're going to win it as comfortably as they did on Christmas Eve? No. No, I do not. Texans are healthier. Browns are gearing up for Houston, which is playing their second playoff game. So for better or worse, they have been, backs against the wall, and they came through. So they know what it's like to make big plays in big moments. But who you got? I got the Brownies. I got the Brownies. Also, I'm just going to put some voodoo magic out there. Ooh. But, if the Colts running back just catches that ball against the Texans, Houston's not hosting a playoff game.
They are not.
So are the Texans all that, great of a playoff team, or are they just a little bit of luckiness that Colts couldn't catch an easy pass? Just going to put that out there. All right, we do have a mailbag at the end of the show, so if you want to get on the screen like Jacob and Josh did just a few moments ago, you can super chat, or you can go into the chat right now, ask a question or take a statement, whatever you want, but just use hashtag Browns somewhere in your chat, and we will pull that and put it on screen. Right, Trace?
Yeah, and the quicker you put them in, the sooner you put them in, the more likely you are to get on screen because you went above and beyond and wanted to be the first one.
Yep.
Early bird gets the worm here.
Coming up on today's show, we got some injury news and rumors to get to, and then we're going to talk about a perfect Browns playoff path to hoist the Lombardi. We did this 2 weeks ago, but now that we know all 14 teams in the dance, I thought we could revisit this. And then that mailbag, hashtag Browns or super chat. 130 people watching, 35 likes. That's a 10% hit rate. That's not going to cut it. We are not going to get this. Oh, you're too nice.
I had to do this, Petey. This is off script. I had to do this. It's Petey's birthday, the Trivia King. It is his big day, so everyone like the video and give an HBD to our guy, the leader of the Browns fans. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Petey. Happy birthday to you.
You're too nice, Trace. You're too nice. Thank you guys so much. Birthdays are fun. I love birthdays.
Speech.
I love birthdays. I write birthday letters to all my friends and all my family, and everyone loves their birthday. But when it's your birthday, I am one of those people that's I get super red in the face.
Yeah, don't sing happy birthday.
Everyone loves their birthday, and if they say otherwise, they're lying. But also, the attention that you get on your birthday, you're I don't know what to say back.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
What do you do when you sing happy birthday?
I just sit there and people sing to me. It's I don't really know how to behave right now. So I appreciate all the birthday wishes. We got Joshua Miller with a $2 super chat. Happy birthday, Petey. Thank you very much. 26 years old.
Young.
Dude, I'm closer to 30 than 20.
That's weird.
And that is weird for me to say. I also looked at it this way. Oh my goodness! Tim Green! Boots on the ground at NRG for the Green family. Weather permitting, getting the super chat out now because I might not be able to Saturday. Go Browns and happy B-Day, Matt, Tim, and the entire Green family. Thank you guys so much. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate the Green family. I have my Green Christmas card on my desk right now. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Go Browns. Enjoy the game. The weather permitting part has me a little confused because I don't know if you guys know this. It is an indoor stadium. Now, it was leaking during the Natty yesterday to start the game. Just before the game started. But I'm sure this is just something else related. But hey, to the entire Green family, Tim Green, the first, the second, the third, Eli, Austin, and Wesley, enjoy the game. And be extra loud for me. Get some extra barks in there for me. Let's go. Let's go. Tim Green, ladies and gentlemen. All right, coming up on today's show, we got the latest news and rumors, that perfect playoff path I was talking about to hoist the almighty Lombardi trophy, and then that mailbag, hashtag Browns or super chat later on in the show. Mr. Trace, are we ready to rock and roll? Okay. I do appreciate all of the birthday wishes in the chat. Let's see. We got David. It's David Washington's birthday. So, David, before we actually jump into the show, you might get a kick out of this. I started at Chat Sports 2.5 years ago, and Trace just spit up his water because I came into Chat Sports as, we have 25 26 employees right now. We
Yeah,
just added
26.
Colin, a new guy, on Wednesday, earlier this week or last week. So I was like, hey, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a thing called like the birthday paradox, where if you get 26 people in a room, then, or 23 people in a room,
I think
actually.
it's 23.
23, my own paradox. 23 people in a room, there's a 50% chance that 2 people have the same birthday, which is pretty wild to think about. 23 is that number of a bar, but it's true. And the moment that I hit Chat Sports, like Nirvana, was when we hired the 23rd guy. And I asked him, what's your birthday? And he had the same birthday as the other new guy that started that same day.
And then
That was my Super Bowl right there.
Wasn't there another? The fact that they started on the same day and had the same birthday could not have been better.
Oh my goodness, that was the best. And no one believed me in the office that this was true, by the way.
Wasn't there something with Brett too, that he had the same birthday as somebody in the office?
No, I don't think
it's
he
not
did.
Brett. I thought there was somebody else.
But we started this because David Washington also said he is celebrating a birthday today. So David, happy birthday to you. I hope you have a great birthday, buddy. All right, let's get into the injury news. Enough about my selfish self. It is playoff week, ladies and gentlemen. Browns, Texans on Saturday. We're going to run through the latest injury reports for both teams to start the week of practice. The Browns are going to practice Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week, as opposed to the normal Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, since they are playing on Saturday. So we're going to run through the injury report. I'm going to tell you what I'm hearing from Berea in terms of what to expect availability-wise on Saturday. So let's get into it here. This is the injury report for Tuesday. Kareem Hunt, Pierre Jr., Amari Cooper, Cedric Tillman, Greg Newsome, Juan Thornhill, and Dustin Hopkins all did not practice. Myles Garrett was also excused with a personal reason. Hopefully everything is okay with 95. I know he recently suffered a death in the family, so hopefully everything is okay with the Garrett family. Dustin Hopkins, though, not expected to be available on Saturday. Do not bank on him going out there. We will see Riley Patterson most likely again. But as for Kareem Hunt and Pierre Jr., I'm not overly concerned about either one of those guys. You got Jerome Ford if either one of them is still a bit banged up. Cedric Tillman took a big hit late against the Bengals. He is in concussion protocol. Concussion protocol is something that's out of everyone's control, essentially. Greg Newsome, this one worries me, and we'll talk more about it. Juan Thornhill, that one also has me a bit skeptical in terms of his availability for Saturday. Amari Cooper, though, the big name on the list, I would say. He did not practice today, but it was also more of a veteran rest day, which he is accustomed to getting. From what I've heard is Amari Cooper is expected to be able to go on Saturday. If the Browns really needed him back on Week 18 against the Bengals, they think that he could have played. So do not lose sleep over Amari Cooper. The belief and expectation in Berea is Cooper will most likely be able to play on Saturday. As for Grant Delpit, I got some good news on the Delpit front. Kevin Stefanski told the media today that they think Grant Delpit's going to get activated off injured reserve at some point this week. Now, that does not mean he is a lock to play on Saturday. It just means he is activated off IR. It opens up a 21-day practice window so he can go back to practice. And if he does not play a game in that 21-day game window, he is put back on IR for the rest of the year. But we're in the playoffs right now. That's more of a regular season problem. But this is very encouraging to see. Even if Delpit does not play on Saturday against the Texans, that definitely puts him on a good track to return if the Browns win on Saturday to play in the divisional round. So fingers crossed Delpit can get back out there, because with Anthony Walker down, this linebacker room is getting really thin all of a sudden. You need some extra safeties out there, right? Instead of trying to run a 3-linebacker set, how about you play more nickel? Get some more DBs on there. Run with 3 safeties. And if you want to run with your best 3 safeties, Delpit, Thornhill, and DeAnthony Bell, or at least Delpit, DeAnthony Bell, and Ronnie Hickman, you're going to need a 3rd safety to come back. Greg Newsome, he is dealing with a knee injury. This has been bothering him for a little over a week now. He also missed Week 18 against the Bengals, and now I'm starting to be we're on Greg Newsome knee watch here, because the Browns cornerback room, well, we know it's been, I wouldn't say 100% healthy this year. Like Denzel Ward has missed some time. Greg Newsome has missed some time with a variety of injuries. Martin Emerson has been healthy all year. Cam Mitchell went on IR for a stretch. So you've definitely been banged up in the cornerback room this year. Hopefully Greg Newsome will not be missing much time at all. But if Greg Newsome were to miss some time, I never wish to have a player go down, and I could regret this on Saturday, but the Houston Texans wide receiver room is not the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, it's not A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Julio Jones. Like, if there is a team to maybe have a corner miss a game, it might be against a team with Nico Collins as their wide receiver one. And he's been playing very well, but after that, even the Texans are dealing with some injuries at that position. Now, we're going to talk about the Texans injury report in just a moment here, but today's Browns report is sponsored by GameTime. You shouldn't have to worry when you're buying tickets to your next big event. GameTime is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. So let's say you want to go see a Browns playoff game, or you want to go catch a Cavs game, or any other sporting event in your area. Just make sure you visit GameTime first, because they're going to have the last-minute deals at the lowest price guaranteed. So what I want you guys to do is to download the GameTime app and then put the code BrownsChat in. When you download GameTime and redeem the code BrownsChat, GameTime is going to hook the Dog Pound up with $20 off their first purchase. Terms apply, but again, download the GameTime app, redeem the code BrownsChat once you create an account, and you're going to get $20 off. I look at it as, hey, if you're going to go to a game, might as well use GameTime, because when you get there, your first run to the concession is on GameTime with $20 off. Let's switch sides here. Let's talk about the Texans injury report, because this has some very important names on it. So Robert Woods and Noah Brown are both on this list here. Robert Woods dealing with a hip injury. Noah Brown dealing with a back injury. Noah Brown was unavailable for Week 18. You've also got guys like Will Anderson, their star defensive end rookie. He is dealing with an ankle injury. He did not play against the Browns on Christmas Eve. Jonathan Grenard, he has missed the last 2 weeks for the Houston Texans. I think they expect to get him back, but it might be one of those situations where he is not truly 100%. But Robert Woods and Noah Brown being on this list right here really makes me wonder, with Tank Dell already lost for the season, when you look at the Houston Texans wide receiver room, I mean, these are the three big guys, Collins, Brown, and Woods. If Noah Brown and Robert Woods, who have both been battling injuries the last couple of weeks, cannot go, like I said earlier with Greg Newsome, if there's a time to miss your slot corner, this might be the time to do it. Now, as for the defensive ends for the Houston Texans, these are two guys that the Browns didn't really see at all when they played on Christmas Eve in Week 16, right? Will Anderson was simply unavailable. He was inactive, dealing with an injury. And then Jonathan Grenard went down 3 snaps into the game. Now, Grenard has missed the last 2 weeks for Houston, whereas Will Anderson has kind of been playing through an injury, but we see him limited in practice right now. So the Texans' pass rush is crucial for Houston. Joe Flacco was not even breathed on against the Houston Texans in Week 16. And you want to know how well that went for Houston? Joe Flacco had nearly 300 passing yards by the end of the first half. 3 touchdowns to go along with it. So the Houston Texans learned the hard way what Joe Flacco can do to you if you don't even get in the same zip code of him. So if Anderson and Grenard are either one of them not available, both unavailable, both limited, that's going to be a big difference maker for that Texans defense that could not stop a nosebleed before Santa came down on Christmas Eve. Amari Cooper, by the way, in Week 16, I mean, he is definitely pinning his ears back for a second opportunity to play this Texans defense. Without that pass rush, Amari Cooper, who can run any route in the book, he can catch any ball thrown his way. He is one of the most complete wide receivers in terms of, do you need a wide receiver to do that? He can do that for you. That's what I love so much about Amari Cooper. With a lot of other receivers, when you talk about them at the bar with your friends, you kind of run through the pros and cons, and you're like, he's really good at this, but he's not a jump ball guy. Or he's a jump ball guy, but he doesn't have great speed. Amari Cooper is just maxing out on all the single qualities you look for in a wide receiver. So for the Browns, if they can get Amari Cooper going again, I mean, obviously we saw how well that worked in Week 16, but more importantly, if the Texans cannot get their pass rush back, Joe Flacco's going to have all day back there to pick him apart to Amari Cooper yet again. So who you got in this game? Browns or Texans? Let me know down in the comment section. We're going to be talking about this matchup all week long, so don't be afraid to shoot your shot down below in the comment section. One other note I want to add from the press conference today between Kevin Stefanski and the local Cleveland media. Mary Kay Cabot tweeted out that Kevin Stefanski on if Jeff Driscoll is his number 2 QB for this game. We're working through all of that. Fingers crossed we never see Jeff Driscoll or P.J. Walker once this postseason, because if so, I wouldn't say it's over, because P.J. Walker was able to still win some games for the Browns, but I didn't see a whole lot of inspiring play out of Jeff Driscoll. Now, I think the reaction to Jeff Driscoll's play on Sunday against the Bengals is probably being overreacted to. I mean, he was throwing to backup wide receivers. He had backup offensive linemen in. That's not really a fair way to evaluate Driscoll, because in a real game setting, he would be throwing to Amari Cooper and Elijah Moore, and he would have Joel Petonio and his starting offensive line out there. So things might go a little bit differently. So I'll leave it up to Stefanski and this coaching crew to cut up the film and pick the best backup QB. But for all of us, let's just hope and pray we never have to see this decision be made here. That's going to do it for us on this edition of the Cleveland Browns Report. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more injury updates throughout the week. I don't want you to miss a thing. And more importantly, I don't want you to sit down for the game on Saturday and all of a sudden be looking around going, where's that guy? Where's so-and-so? He's playing? I had no idea. You will be in the know if you are subscribed to the channel so you get all of the latest injury updates. Joshua Miller with a $2 super chat. Let's go. Super Bowl prediction, Cowboys versus Ravens. My Super Bowl, Browns versus Lions. Josh, I'm actually pretty close to you. My Super Bowl is also Browns versus Lions. Gun to my head, I'm thinking 49ers-Ravens rematch.
That's what I'm picking too.
So here's my take for the Cowboys. Dallas has not reached the NFC Championship game in 25 or so years.
Yep.
I think this is the year. But I think it's one of those moments where it's take one big step forward, but they don't quite get to the top of the mountain, right? This is the year where they get to the NFC Championship game. I think they're going to take down the Packers with ease in round 1. And then as the 2 seed, they get to stay home the next round. They didn't get to do that last year. They had to go to San Francisco where they got spanked. So I'm feeling pretty good about Cowboys going to the NFC Championship game, but I think the Niners.
I think they'll still whoop up on them.
The 49ers' only kryptonite is depth. They don't have a ton of great depth, but they've stayed healthy this far. So as long as they can continue to stay healthy, and remember, they rested all their guys in Week 18, and they have this week off. So not to go full blowhard for the 49ers, but 2 weeks off, oh, they're going to be feeling so fresh.
There is also the rust versus rest argument to be made there.
There is. I still lean to the side of rest.
Oh, absolutely.
Because here's why. If you lose a guy during a meaningless game, people are going to freak the fuck out. If you lose that playoff game, I don't think people are going to think they were rusty out there, right? There's like a lot of other factors that contribute to a loss. You might be rusty to start the first quarter. Maybe the first drive, you kind of get punched in the mouth a little bit. But by the fourth quarter, you're not out there thinking like, I haven't played football in so long, I don't remember the snap count. Like, that's not a thing for these guys. They're pros. All right, here we go. 220 people tuned in, 75 likes. Let's get ourselves to 85 likes before we start our next segment, which is a dream playoff Super Bowl path for the Cleveland Browns. Mick saying, I am not worried. Kicker is not playing Saturday. I think you mean I am worried, but yes, I would prefer to have Dustin Hopkins over Riley Patterson. The only little sigh of relief is at least it's an indoor stadium for Riley Patterson, so wind conditions aren't going to be an impact, and it should be pretty neutral, and that's going to bring out the best in even a younger kicker like Riley Patterson. Okay, we are at 90 likes. Pee-wee's Burnt Pizza. Hit the like button. I love it. I love it. Are we ready to talk soupy? I feel like I'm putting a lot of rat poison out there, but you know what? We're in the fucking playoffs. Let's have some fun. It's a kind of an important reminder, sports is supposed to be fun.
You deserve this.
Sports are supposed to be fun. It's not fun if you spend the entire time just like biting at your nails, refusing to come out of your cave until it's all over. Enjoy it. Playoffs. Playoffs, baby. Haven't gotten a whole lot of playoff taste for my 26 years of living. Okay, here we go. Let's talk Browns. Oh, we got Jacob. We'll throw Jacobs on at the end of this next segment because I know Trace has after. Yeah. Trace has the whole thing set up right now. All right, here we go. Coming up on today's show, we're going to run through a perfect/dream Super Bowl path for the Cleveland Browns. We did this like last week or 2 weeks ago, but now that we know the finalized 14 teams in the big dance, I thought we could run through it one more time. So we are definitely getting ahead of our skis, to say the least, but sports are supposed to be fun, so I thought we'd have some fun with this segment. But let me toss this question your way before we get into the nitty-gritty. How far will the Browns make it? Is this a divisional round kind of team, AFC Championship kind of team, Super Bowl kind of team? Let me know how far you think the Browns are going to make it in the postseason. Now let's look at the finalized AFC playoff picture one more time here as we get set for Super Wild Card Weekend. The Bills are going to be hosting the Steelers, the Chiefs hosting the Dolphins, and the Texans hosting the Browns. So if I am creating a dream Super Bowl path for the Browns, and ultimately if you host the Lombardi, there are probably going to be a lot of tough games you overcame and some adversity. Otherwise, when you get to the Super Bowl, you might get pushed around a little bit for having a cakewalk. But, hey, this is my dream, so we're going to go the way I want to go. Now, here's how I would love to see the AFC wildcard round unfold. Browns beat the Texans. That's Captain Obvious. I want the Dolphins to beat the Chiefs. I just want Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid out. Just get them out. Because they are two guys that, even with a bad Chiefs team, can get hot for a couple of weeks, and that's all it has to be. Wildcard, divisional, AFC, Super Bowl. We're talking 4 hot weeks. I don't want those guys in the mix. This last one, I hate myself. And so I'm not going to actually say it out loud, but you can read it on screen. A certain team beats the Buffalo Bills. I don't want the Steelers to win. I would love to see the Steelers lose this weekend. But knocking the Bills out, I think, is something the rest of the AFC would be something pretty happy about. And I also would love for the Steelers to get this false sense of confidence that Mason Rudolph is their QB of the franchise, of the future. And then they do what the New York Giants did, which is overreact to a playoff win, give him a big contract, and then immediately regret that. So if that means the Steelers win one playoff game for them to think Mason is their guy and they give him some kind of contract extension and that comes back to bite them in the ass for the next 2 to 3 seasons, I think we can all agree that's probably worth one playoff win for Pittsburgh. So it's kind of a double win-win scenario here. If the Steelers lose, I will always celebrate the Pittsburgh Steelers losing. If the Steelers win, well, maybe they overreact and they make Mason their guy, and then in 2024 and 2025, they're screwed. So let's look at the NFC playoff picture here real quickly before we get to the divisional round for these two matchups. So the NFC side of things, we've got the Cowboys hosting the Packers, the Lions hosting the Rams, and the Bucks hosting the limpy Philadelphia Eagles. Now, here's how I would love to see the NFC go down in the wild card round. Cowboys beat the Packers. Lions beat the Rams. I just feel bad for Detroit. That'd be so mean to go to the playoffs for the first time and lose to Matthew Stafford. I'm not that, just mean of a human being. That's just tough. And the Eagles beat the Bucks. This one is a little bit of like a jealous ex-girlfriend take here, but if Baker and the Bucks win, I'm not interested in logging onto Twitter for the next 24, 48 hours and looking at people who think they're dunking on the Browns as if the Browns are not in the playoffs the exact same year, and as if the Browns not have a better record than the Buccaneers this season, and Tampa Bay just benefited from being in a dog shit division. But you know what? We don't have to worry about any of that if the Eagles were to beat the Buccaneers. Now, before we get on to the divisional matchups, how many times have you heard someone say, "New year, new me"? Now, how many times have you heard someone say, "New year, no stink"? That is what Mando is all about. From the makers of Loom deodorant, Mando is here to make sure 2024 is the year you showcase your best hygiene. If you suffer from stinky feet, pits, or below the belt, then Mando's doctor-developed and clinically proven odor blocker is worth giving a shot. And new customers can get $5 off a starter pack at shopmando.com with promo code CHAT. You don't want to smell like the smelly guy on the bus who doesn't believe in deodorant. So ditch that stink and get with Mando today. Mando starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. Luckily, I have a discount code to help you get hooked up on my favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code CHAT. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack when you use code CHAT at shopmando.com. That's shop, S-H-O-P, Mando, M-A-N-D-O.com. I put that link in the comments and description of today's video. Shout out to Mando for supporting the Cleveland Browns report. Now, my dream divisional matchup after running through the wild card, the Browns would host the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins might have gotten lucky once in this dream scenario, beating the Chiefs in sub-zero temperatures, but those candy-ass teal uniforms by the lake shores of Erie, yeah, that's not going to go well for Tua. So give me the Dolphins in back-to-back cold weather games, and the Browns prevail at home where Joe Flacco knows how to play. And then the Ravens play the Steelers. So with all that being said, we would have our AFC Championship game be Joe Flacco returning to M&T Bank Stadium in a game that will be must-see TV for all football lovers. So that is my dream playoff path right there. I would love to see the Browns. Sure, you would argue, why not have the 1-seed Ravens lose in the divisional round to a team like the Steelers, and the Browns get to play the Steelers? And as I say that out loud right now, that is pretty tempting as well, actually. But you know what? No, I want Joe Flacco against the Ravens, although I might have really just psyched myself into this one. So, hey, it's a dream. Just let me enjoy it. Now, as for the NFC Dream Divisional Round, 49ers play the Rams. 49ers win. Cowboys play the Lions, and we've got the Dallas Cowboys taking down the Detroit Lions. So that would mean the Dallas Cowboys go to San Francisco, and they would take on the 49ers in the NFC Championship game. So Cowboys at 49ers in the NFC Chip. Tell me that wouldn't be an all-time classic of a game right there. I mean, just from a football enjoyment perspective, who wouldn't love that? So this would be I beg your pardon. We went off the rails here. This is supposed to be 49ers Lions here. So we'll make a little spice later on. How does that sound? Then we move on to Super Bowl 58, which would be the Browns against the Lions in a game that everyone is rooting for. Who would not want the two franchises who could not get out of their own way for decades and decades and decades not only make the Super Bowl for the first time in franchise history, but to do it at the same time? All of America would rally around Browns, Lions in the Super Bowl right there. So that is my dream playoff path for the Browns to be as successful as possible. But ultimately, yes, like this is just a little bit of a fun fan fiction. If the Browns are going to go all the way, it's not going to be because of some cakewalk game, right? They're going to have to overcome some hurdles and some adversity. And guess what? That's all this team has done this year. I mean, there have been so many times where they could have folded up. Nick Chubb going down, Deshaun Watson going down the first and the second time. But they persevered. They kept battling. They were down 2 scores in Baltimore, the number 1 team in the AFC, and they beat them. They took down the San Francisco 49ers, who were healthy, with P.J. Walker at quarterback. So this team knows a thing or two about adversity. So as fun as it is to talk about a dream playoff path, the reality is if you're going to get to the Super Bowl, no one said it was going to be easy. So yeah, it could be fun to try and plot a fun, easier route, but in all reality, it's not going to be easy, and I'm ready for it, and you should not be afraid of that. So drop your Super Bowl matchup predictions for me down below in the comment section. Let me know who you got, and don't be afraid. Like, I keep saying this as if I'm some motivational speaker, but I feel like so many people, when it comes to Super Bowl predictions, are afraid of just being wrong. Who gives a shit? We're all wrong. If I was afraid to give my opinions, I wouldn't have a job. I would just come up here and just go back and forth, seesaw, try to always stay in Switzerland. No, pick a side. Hopefully it's the right side, but if not, at least be remembered as compared to being forgettable. Now, before we sign off, I do want to shout out some of our Week 18 Watch Party MVPs, starting with the MVP, Jeremy Stallman, yet again. I don't know how to put into words what Jeremy Stallman is doing. It is like the job Kevin Stefanski has done this season. Jeremy Stallman might be Kevin Stefanski's burner. I think that's what Stefanski's doing on the sideline. He's just sending in super chats all day. Jeremy, every single week, I salute to you. All pro, I want to go with the Sozo. The Sozo is a father-son duo who sent a super chat in during our Week 18 watch party. It was a very nice comment talking about how much they love tuning in for our watch parties, how they don't live in Cleveland anymore, and this is their best way to be re-engaged with the team. So that really warmed my heart. Shout out to you guys. Thank you so much. Pro Bowl is Max T, and the sleeper is Papa T. Little father-son duo. I'm really getting to my cats in the cradle kind of moment right now. But to the entire Thompson family, let's go Brownies, baby. And the game ball, it goes to Brad, number one Browns fan. Brad was a COVID ops CIA agent going into Steelers talk during their watch party against the Ravens in Week 18, and he was just on his worst behavior. And I could not be more proud of right now than I am of Brad. So, Brad, game ball goes to you. Let's go Brownies. That's going to do it for us on today's show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I always appreciate those of you who stick around to the end of the video. So if you are still watching, subscribe, like, all that cliche YouTube stuff, and we will see you all later. Okay, get those questions in. That's okay. Mistakes happen. I love this comment. Browns fan, this guy's a fake. He's a Falcons fan. No, I'm not a fake. Also, not a Falcons fan. I help our Falcons channel here at Chat Sports because like I talked about earlier here at Chat Sports, we've got 25, 26 employees right now.
Yeah, and we have 32
I think there's 32
teams.
NFL teams.
So
we can't have
the math ain't mathin'.
the one guy per team, which means sometimes people have to help out in other channels. And for everyone watching right now, if you ever started or been at a growing kind of early startup company, like it's an awesome feeling when you see it grow over the months and the years. And I love the grind. So no shame in helping out other channels so that we can eventually hire a host to have that channel full time so that we can all have our own respective channels.
That's the dream.
Yeah. Let's go. We got Brandon with a question in the chat right now. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. What's Time Man saying? Browns Super Bowl champs? Indeed. Indeed. Keep getting those questions in. Do we need some more questions, Mr. Trace Gerard? Okay. Jacob Kistner. Yeah, let's load it on right now. Jacob Kistner, sorry about that. I already forgot. Kistner with a $2 super chat. That is not going to sit well with 90% of the audience. To the victors, valiant hail, go blue. Congratulations to Michigan on what's going to be a very quickly asterisks and redacted and vacated
forgotten
national championship. I went to Tennessee, so I don't hate Michigan or Ohio State, but I do feel a NCAA retraction coming soon. And that natty might be vacated. So there it is. Lots of F Michigans coming in the chat right now. Ty Man the Buckeye leading the charge on that way. But hey, Michigan, like, I also don't believe in vacated national championships. The players on the field were not there because Michigan broke rules. Like, they beat Washington. There was no team this year that was better than Michigan. They beat everyone. So I hate vacated championships. It's the dumbest thing in the world. Like, penalize them in the future, but don't take away something that those kids earned that they had nothing to do over. Okay. Are we ready to jump into the mailbag? Okay. Let's do it. Let's talk brownies, boys and girls. Get those questions in. If you want to skip the line one last time, super chat, and we guarantee your question gets on screen. Mailbag time here on the Cleveland Browns Report. Matthew Peterson here answering questions from our live show, which airs Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern. Browns are good. We're off to a factual start. I love it. If we don't make the Super Bowl, then what about next year? I don't think this season has come down to Super Bowl or bust for the Cleveland Browns. I think the bigger picture item here is if you don't win the Super Bowl, man, continue getting those winning culture and playoff experience reps, right? become a team that just becomes accustomed to success, not a flash in the pan. Because every year there is a team that kind of comes out of nowhere, goes on a deep run, makes the playoffs, and then they regress back to where they were the previous 5 years. I don't want the Browns to be that team. And if they continue winning games, that's just going to create a winning culture where when guys get drafted and guys get signed to the Browns, the expectations are the same what they are in New England right now, or at least what they were in New England. Tomorrow, Cuber, random question, but who do you think is going to be the Madden 24 cover athlete? That is random. Tyreek Hill or Christian McCaffrey? Both seem like pretty good options. David Washington, what's your thoughts on a Browns versus Lions Super Bowl? If we're talking like matchup-wise, like how the Browns stack up against the Detroit Lions, the Lions have one thing on offense they do very well, speed. Let's assume everyone's healthy. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs. Very fast guys. Like, I know in the NFL, everyone's fast, but, like, they are extra fast. So then we think about the Browns' defense. They don't have a bunch of guys with cinder blocks for feet. Like, JOK is a fast linebacker. If Delpit's healthy, he's a guy that can keep up with fast wide receivers. Denzel Ward is one of the fastest corners in football. So the Browns stack up pretty well with the Lions' strengths. So then we look at the Browns' offensive side of things, and well, every single week, I think we all continue to be amazed by this Browns offense. But if Joe Flacco keeps throwing for 350 yards and 2 or 3 touchdowns, like, they can take down anyone with that offense. Joshua Miller, who's coming back or has a chance to come back from IR during the playoffs? So let's kind of go through who's on IR that could come back. Anthony Walker could come back for the Super Bowl, although it feels like his season is done. Delpit could come back any week now. Dorian Thompson-Robinson could come back for the AFC Championship game. And those are pretty much the only guys on IR. Like, as cool as it would be, Nick Chubb's not coming back. He got surgery a second time in November. So it's not like, don't think, but he got injured in September. It's been October, November. No, start the process at November. December, January, 3 months after knee surgery, that's not even happening for Nick Chubb or Adrian Peterson or anyone else. TLH Arts and Projects, what's going on, dude? Just got my signed Bernie Kosar jersey. Happy B-Day, PD. Like I said, this is being filmed on Tuesday, which is my birthday today. But appreciate that, man. So happy to hear you got your jersey, and thank you for coming into our watch parties every single week. Pee-wee's Burnt Pizza, what can you identify as a weakness of C.J. Stroud? This is an excellent question. A weakness for C.J. Stroud. It's not bad decision-making. It's not poor turnovers, right? C.J. Stroud has only thrown 5 interceptions this season. And that's usually the biggest weakness for a rookie quarterback. So if we are running through weaknesses for C.J. Stroud, I mean, the guy's not perfect. But when you win NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year, you kind of look perfect a lot of the time. So things that jump out to me as areas to exploit against C.J. Stroud, when you think about rookie QBs, one thing that comes to mind is they don't have the best pocket awareness, right? In college, sometimes you have an Ohio State minute until you have to throw the football. C.J. Stroud has been sacked a lot this year. His offensive line is not one of the best in the league. So that's an area where Jim Schwartz goes, let's throw some different looks at him. Let's get some 5-man fronts up there. Let's put Myles Garrett over the center, right? Let's get Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith, and Alex Wright, and Okoronkwo all on the field at once. Because C.J. Stroud in his rookie year, he's still learning when to bail out of the pocket, when to move up, when to move back in the pocket. That is an area where the Browns can exploit the rookie QB. Who you got, by the way? Browns or Texans? Let me know down below in the comment section who you got. I would love to see what everyone's responses are. Next question coming in. I don't know if I can say this one, but here we go. Are we ready, Trace? Free, you know who. Should he be freed? How far do you think the Browns can go in the playoffs? I think this team is capable of going to the Super Bowl. Do I say that with a little bit of homer bias? Sure, yeah, but which fan base isn't doing that right now? But when we really think about the Browns, they beat the 2-1 seeds in the NFL. They beat the 49ers, and they beat the Ravens. So if they have taken down the best in the NFC and the best in the AFC, why can't they go all the way to the Super Bowl? I'm waiting. Jacob Kistner, who will have more touchdowns on our Super Bowl run, Cooper or Njoku? I would go with Amari Cooper. I want to see Elijah Moore take a bigger step in the postseason, but I think Amari Cooper is more of it's playoffs, it's third down, game's on the line. we're going to number 2 at the sideline. And that can turn into 6 points very quickly. Now, if you want to turn some great idea of yours into awesome tickets, do it at GameTime, the sponsor for today's show, because the Dog Pound should not have to worry when they're trying to buy tickets to the next big event. GameTime is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. If you want to go see a Browns playoff game, or let's say you want to go see a Cavs game, whatever you are trying to go check out, make sure you visit GameTime first, because they're going to have the lowest price guaranteed. So if you are looking to go down to Houston, or if the Browns win and you want to go to wherever they play in the divisional round, download the GameTime app, redeem the code Browns, there it is, Browns Chat for $20 off. Terms apply, but again, download GameTime today. Check. Redeem code Browns Chat for $20 off. Check. And you are good to go. GameTime. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. I put that link in the comments and description of today's video. Tyrone. I hope we draft a running back. Ford's a good backup for Chubb if he comes back to his old self, but we need a playmaker on the field like Jalen Warren or Keaton Mitchell type backups. I agree that Jerome Ford was a good complementary back to Nick Chubb, but you don't have that breakaway gadget kind of speed that you get in those two guys you pointed out there. The Browns are definitely going to be targeting running backs in this upcoming draft. Even if Nick Chubb does return, and even if it's just 90% of his old self, he is, unfortunately, like a lot of running backs, getting towards the end of his career. I could easily see the Browns making running back a big priority in this year's draft. Cool guy called Zone. What position should we pick up in the second round? Wide receiver, running back, or defensive line? Okay, I've always been a big advocate for best player available. But if we are looking at biggest need, and if all three of these spots have good players available, I'd be pretty inclined to look at wide receiver. Defensive line, you've got some good pieces right now with Dalvin Tomlinson. If you re-sign Jordan Elliott, you're bringing back the same duo again. Siaka Ika could take a big step in year 2. Running back, I just feel like you can find some good running backs in rounds 3 or round 4. And then wide receiver is a spot where you've got Amari Cooper, but how many years does he really have left? And has Elijah Moore shown us he's going to be a guy that can take over from Amari Cooper as your number 1? Probably didn't see as much as you would have hoped for out of Cedric Tillman this year, so I would go towards wide receiver. Y2D Skies. Jakeem Grant return? Probably not. No. Kind of forgot about Jakeem Grant, to be honest with you. That sucks, too, because it's very unfortunate. Big special teamer. I can't say for sure, but I've heard zero word from Berea that Jakeem Grant is eyeing a late season return. Brandon, score prediction for the game, Greg Newsome injury news. No concrete update on Greg Newsome and his knee injury just yet. Stay tuned for that throughout the week. As for a score prediction, Browns 27, Texans 21. Depressed Browns fan, do we re-sign Dustin Hopkins even though he is hurt? Yeah, I'd say so. I don't think you look at that injury as something that's going to plague him for the rest of his career. If the medicals come back as that hamstring is pretty effed up, then you go a different direction. But if he is expected to make a full recovery, then I would say you got your guy for the next 2 or 3 seasons. Ride it while it's hot, and I would bring back Dustin Hopkins. Elliot Cole, in your opinion, would you rather play Baltimore round 2 or in the AFC Championship game? Fun question, Elliot. I would rather play Baltimore in the AFC Championship game. Well, when I say that because that means the Browns got the AFC Championship game, and that's a pretty fun thing. But in terms of like when do you have a better chance of beating the Ravens, I would say round 2. The Ravens at that point will have 2 weeks off, and sure they could be very fresh, but also you could kind of catch them a bit off guard, and maybe they're a bit rusty. Even though I'm in favor of resting players, if you're playing them in the AFC Championship game, they're kind of back into the swing of things a little bit here. I think you could have a better chance of punching them in the mouth, and the Browns this season are undefeated when leading at the half. So that could be a spot where you catch the Ravens off guard. Jacob Kistner, if the Browns had to draft one player from Michigan and one from Ohio State, what 2 guys would you want? No Marvin Harrison. All right, good job on the Ohio State one. Blake Corum would probably be my guy. I do have my tiny bit of concerns with Blake Corum in terms of like what he'll do in the NFL. He ran behind one of the most dominant offensive lines in football, and he had, 24, 25, 26 touchdowns? How many were within 5 yards? Like, I don't know off the top of my head, but I think a lot. So that's where I'm a little bit skeptical of Blake Corum. As for Ohio State, man, all I can think about is Marvin Harrison Jr. Abuka, the wide receiver, right next to him. Round 2, if he were to fall that way, that could be a fun pick right there for the Browns. That's going to do it for us on our mailbag today. So I appreciate everyone who tuned in. Make sure to subscribe if you have not already. We're going to keep you guys locked in all off season and season long, baby. Okay. It's 100 degrees in here. Yeah, it's toasty, baby. It is toasty. No, it's okay. We've made it this far. Cameron Mitchell, happy B-Day. Hope you have a great day, and I think the Browns are going to win. Cameron, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. What else? Time Man, did I see yours? What's yours, Time Man? I don't know what Time Man said. Time Man, help me out. Time Man, oh, there it is. Just wanted to say the best Browns, or just want to say to the best Browns Report host, a happy birthday. Happy birthday to the man, Petey. Time Man, thank you so much. I remember your birthday was like in December-ish. Yeah. No, it was right before Michigan, Ohio State. So hey, Time Man, thank you so much. Appreciate you. It was on the Friday before. So happy, very belated birthday to you, and let's go Browns, dude. Let's go Browns. Okay. We've got 170 people tuned in. I really appreciate everyone who takes time out of their Tuesday afternoon to come hang out with us. We're going to sign off. We're going to let you guys go and enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. But I have some good trivia for tonight's game to share with the audience. Pardon? Are you coming tonight? That would dictate my question. TBD? Okay. What's a good... Yeah. I like the final question a lot. No, I can't do that to you. All right, I'll save it for another time. Thank you guys so much. Justin, appreciate you. Ken G, you're very welcome. I put your letter... Yeah, you got your letter already. I put 3 more letters in the mail just this morning. So, I'm sending letters.
I have a trivia question.
Trivia question.
What is the most common birthday throughout the year? What day?
I believe I've seen this one before, so I'm not going to act like I came up with it. I think it's in September, though. I'm going to say like September 9th. Oh my God, let's go! I have seen this fact before, but I just knew it was sometime in September.
Let's go!
I knew it was sometime in September, and I remember thinking that was right around 9/11, and that's a very sad time to have a birthday.
Yeah.
I have two friends with 9/11 birthday. Like that's the worst.
Awful.
It's the worst birthday to have.
No
one cares about your birthday.
No one.
No.
Not a day to be happy.
Okay. We'll see you guys later. I really appreciate all the birthday wishes. Thank you guys so much. You have no idea how much they mean and just how much it means to have the same names and faces in the chat on Sundays, on Tuesdays, and every single day pretty much. So you guys are the best. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Let's get a playoff dub on Saturday.